and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Greetings and salutations, this is Christopher Daniels. I'm talking to my main man Delzinski right now. Any video game show, any video game channel, any YouTube channel called Vintage Shizzle is indeed hashtag Daniels approved.
Yo, alright guys, Delzinski here. Welcome to another We Talk Weekend. And as per usual, I'm joined by my partner in crime. And he's coming from New York because he's at SummerSlam. Smack Talks, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing well, man. I'm live via satellite, New York City.
I know, you've gone for the John Cena effect.
It is, it's the rock effect, isn't it?
Interesting.
I've gone all Hollywood rock.
I know. How's things going out there, first of all?
It's going well, man. It's been very different. It's like so different, yeah. The heat just really hits you. I've got like hot wind and everything over here. It's ridiculous.
Hot wind?
Hot wind, yeah.
Sounds interesting.
It does. Like you walk outside thinking, oh, I'll get a nice breeze. And then it's like someone's got like a hot hairdryer just in your face all the time.
So it sounds like you're enjoying it then.
It is. It's okay. It's not too bad. I can't complain.
Enjoying all the 2K coverage out there. I believe you may have had a few opportunities out there to get your hands on a few things.
I've had a chance to play this new game, 2K16. So I've been playing that for a while. Got a couple hours in on it, but I can't speak about any of that till next week. Mm-hmm. So I'm afraid people will have to wait for that news.
Yeah, make sure you check out Smack Talk's channel, and I'm sure you'll get all the inside info when he releases it next week. But yeah, I'm glad you're having a good time out there. And like I say, rolling on to SummerSlam at the weekend. It's going to be a big one on Sunday.
It is. It's going to be a huge event. I can't believe it's like 4 hours as well, and like 10 matches.
I know, just reviewing the card today, I was thinking, wow, there's actually a lot going on, and it's a real jam-packed weekend because tonight we've got NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and then we jump forward to SummerSlam. So some of these superstars are doing double time this weekend.
Absolutely, it's weird to see it taking place on Saturday because I thought if they're doing it on Thursday or is it Wednesday night there NXT, I thought that would give them like a couple of days rest in between. But people like people like Owen, who be resting on Saturday night and then Sunday. It's weird to see them doing like double duty.
Yeah. So it's going to be an exhausting one for guys like Kevin Owens. It's going to be interesting as well how the scenarios play out, whether or not there's going to be like title changes at TakeOver, whether that will affect things going into SummerSlam. So yeah, busy. And we're going to give everybody a full review of the SummerSlam card, and we are going to touch on NXT TakeOver Brooklyn first. So that's where our attention is drawn at. Have you picked up like a Brooklyn or New York accent? Doesn't feel like it.
Not just yet. Maybe by the time I get back.
And the only other thing I wanted to ask you is, did you do what I asked you to do before you went out there?
Maybe. I can't remember what you asked us.
Well, I asked you to make sure that when you come back, you bring me home a Renee Young. So have you managed to succeed in doing this yet? And will you be bringing her back for me?
I haven't seen Renee, unfortunately. I did get to meet Lillian Garcia, but no Renee. You have to keep waiting.
Hopefully, SummerSlam's still to come. So I'm still, hoping so.
Well, maybe. Hopefully she's there. Like, we'll all be like in like all together with the 2K people, so maybe she can drop in just see how we are, and maybe I can like stow our way for you at that point.
Good stuff. Thought I'd double checking this before we start everything else.
But I know you're really keen for us to get you Renee Young, so I'll see what I can do.
And did you get any sort of come on Nikki chance?
Unfortunately not, no. The Bellas were there at the event, but it was just like a red carpet thing with the Bellas, and there was a huge queue for it. It was impossible to get towards them.
You should have busted out a come on Nikki. That's what you should have done.
I could have done, but I was too busy with the game, man. It's all about the game.
Anyway,
I did get to speak to the Cosmic King, Bad News Barrett.
Did you now? That'll be interesting. Did he have any bad news for you?
He didn't have any bad news, but he had some interesting revelations in regards to his favourite superhero and who he would like to come out dressed as.
Oh my God, really?
So, yeah, you'll have to wait for that. That's an interesting one. I don't think many people from the US will understand it, but if you're from the UK, you should recognise it.
Cool. That sounds good, man. Sounds good. So, should we talk about NXT Brooklyn?
Let's.
So it's quite a big card as well, this. But what we're going to do is we're going to touch on the main matches. We're not going to talk about the whole card, but the standout ones. And I think we'll talk about the title match at the end. But let's talk about first Sasha Banks versus Bayley, because is this going to be a case of Sasha Banks is finally stepping up, which means that she will drop the NXT title a bit like Kevin Owens did? Although, hold on a sec, Kevin Owens is going to challenge for the belt again, so he could recapture the gold. Not sure, but yeah, is this a point where Sasha Banks releases that belt and now focuses her attention on the Divas Championship on the main roster? And is it a good opportunity as well for Bayley to capitalise?
I think it could be a case of that. The only problem is like everyone will be expecting her to drop the belt, so it could be a case that she drops it. If she does drop it and it's someone like Bayley, then I think that's well deserved, because Bayley's been around for like quite a while now in NXT. So she's always been one of the ones that's kind of got held back. So I would like to see her with the title, just see how she gets on with it. But it's one of them situations where whenever someone comes up from NXT, the main roster, then you know if they're a champion, they're going to drop it at some point. And this kind of just feels like that. It's a way to get it off her and pass it on to the next person. But it is weird when you see people like Kevin Owens going back down to NXT, especially when he's already had a rematch with Finn Balor. Oh. So, I don't know, I think it could be a case of maybe just drop the title from Sasha, because it's not really getting much focus with all these team stuff. So I would probably drop it, give it to Bayley, and let Bayley have a run with the title, and then hopefully she's the next one to move up the main roster.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit awkward though as well, because with someone like Sasha Banks, if you think about a title reign, she hasn't really held the belt for that long. And it was a long time coming for her to capture the gold. So I always feel a bit like you're a bit shortchanged in terms of their title reigns. It's the same with Kevin Owens, where the expectation is he was coming in to grab the gold. He grabbed it, and then it was almost like really quickly afterwards, it was like, oh, we've got to move him up. So I would like maybe these to have a bit longer on the NXT roster before they drop the belt. So I'm not saying that that's definitely the case. We might be surprised and have Sasha Banks keep the title, which would kind of be nice, because I think that her whole, well, it's the same with Owens. They both pride themselves on being the NXT champion. It was almost like that's the belt that matters to them. So, you know, them dropping that belt would be a huge loss to them. And I kind of think, I don't know, maybe it'd be nice if they held on to it and really challenged the actual main belt, so like the Divas belt. Why not challenge it to make it a women's title or something like that? Maybe push that a bit more. But yeah, it feels like it's all building towards a Bayley win. But I'd like to maybe see Sasha overcome it and push on as champion a little bit longer, as long as she kind of holds in the mix a bit more and not just focused on the main roster, because it does feel like that at the moment. It's losing its touch with NXT.
It is, yeah. I think one of the problems that they're having is when they bring up these people from NXT, it kind of deflates the NXT roster. So especially with, like in this situation, because having so many divas come up, or women coming up from the NXT roster, the main roster, we've got pretty much like 3 main NXT women that have been taken out. So it's good that they're still kind of involved in NXT. Although I think there'll be a transition period where they do move away from that. But with Sasha, I think she is someone that could maybe like stay at NXT and just carry that championship for a little bit longer. It just gives her that longer run and more credible run. It just like carries on to build on what they have done. There's no need to sort of bring her straight up to the roster full time and move her away from NXT, because there is so many people that have just joined the main roster. It's hard to fit them all in. So even if she like has more matches on NXT, I think that's probably a better way to go. And it just continues to like put the importance on the NXT championship instead of her dropping it all of a sudden when she's on the main roster and passing it on to the next person.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if she does drop the belt that she's the one that maybe picks up the victory in the match at SummerSlam as well. So I could kind of see that happening, like the week dropping the title and then, regaining some strength in that match where I think we've got, all of the teams in action. So it kind of makes sense if you're going to drop it now so she can focus full time on it. But I don't know. I still kind of hoped a bit more of that NXT title reign, to be honest with you, considering how long it was built up for her to capture that gold.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So, prediction on it? What are you going for? I'm probably going to go for a Bayley win.
Yeah, I'd like to see Sasha keep it a little longer, but I'm going to go Bayley in this one.
Yeah, I really want to see maybe the NXT title challenged against the Divas title and then possibly have, just before Nikki breaks her record breaks the Divas record with the title, maybe have Sasha actually take it from her. That's what I'd like to see. And then, they could do something with the belts then. She could just relinquish the belt as opposed to losing it. That's the bit I don't like. I think it's the fact that they have to lose it. I'd rather see him relinquish it and it go into a tournament or something like that.
Like Paige done.
Yeah. I want to see someone else be made like a star from that sort of progression, not just they dropped the belt.
The problem is they do it so often. Like everyone that comes up, you'd have like a championship tournament going on all the time.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's just finding that balance really. But so we're both going with Bayley on that match.
Yep.
Okay. Let's take a look at another one, which is quite interesting. I think I'm right in saying that Baron Corbin is undefeated at the moment. I think that's right.
I think he is, yeah.
And that would mean, because I know he didn't lose to Rhino. So with that being the case, he's going up against Samoa Joe, who I feel hasn't really lit up NXT quite like we hoped. At first, it was that build around that Kevin Owens feud, but that kind of filtered out with Owens moving up. It's always like that, isn't it? Everything's to do with the guys moving up, which has kind of dented the NXT side. And I think this might be a chance for really to redeem Samoa Joe by having him beat Baron Corbin and take that undefeated streak away. I am pretty sure he's undefeated. I'm just saying that again, just in case someone wants to correct me in the comment section below.
I think he is. So I've got your back on this one. He beat Bill Dempsey when they were both undefeated.
Yeah.
So he then went on to Rhino, he beat him. So yeah, I think he's undefeated.
And we just stand on Baron Corbin because it's quite like some people just think he's pretty boring, and some people think, well, he's being built as a bit of a monster where he can't be stopped. Obviously, he could be stopped by Joe. He's not going to be able to muscle bust him, so I'm guessing he's might going to choke him out.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I'm one of the people that sides towards the boring side of Baron Corbin, but I can understand why they're building him up the way they are, and they don't really need to give him huge personality when you've got someone like that. It's kind of like when you had Goldberg coming through. He went through running through people. He didn't have to have this huge persona or anything. So I can see where they're going with that. The only issue is then if they have him go up against Joe and Joe beats him, it's well, what do they do from there? So I think maybe this could be a case of rather than just have Joe beat him and that's it, maybe this could develop into more of a brawl and that they kind of build on it from there. So this could maybe be something like no DQ, be a DQ, sorry.
Well, you could always go for as well. You could always go down the route of if he choked him out, he never gave up. So
yeah, that's usually something that we do see. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened.
So yeah, I mean, if they go down that route, then it makes it really, really easy to sort of come back and say, well, they actually didn't beat him because he choked him out. A legal hold. I don't think they've pushed too much the choke. So if they were going to introduce it, they could introduce it now very well. So yeah, I'm just thinking, I think what's easier to go for is Corbin keeping his streak open and this feud continues with Joe trying to topple that undefeated streak. But I don't know. I don't really see a lot what they've done with Samoa Joe. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the problem. I could see them carrying on with the sort of streak for Corbin, but at the same time, Joe, he hasn't had an impact, is that the word, He hasn't really had that much of an impact that I thought he would. He hasn't been billed as like a really sort of big name like I thought they would when they actually brought him in. So I'm waiting for him to have something that really like gets him over as that. So like I don't know if a win against Corbin would do that, but it would be a big thing with him being undefeated. So yeah, it's strange. I could see it going either way, or even like I said, with like the match being thrown out. But I kind of want to see Joe win this.
I want to see Joe win it because I think he needs something to sink his teeth into. And I was actually really surprised that it's not Joe that's in the main event, really, with Finn Balor at this point. I thought that would be a perfect scenario, but they decided to bring Owens back down.
Well, that would have made much more sense. I think Joe kind of got screwed over when Owens went up the main roster because we're all set for like that great program between the two of them, and it never really sort of developed from there. So we're kind of left waiting for that. Hopefully, it's something that we do get, like maybe on the main roster when they both are on there. But Joe would have fit much better into the championship match. I don't see why Owens is back down there, especially when he's like been on the main roster for so long compared to like some of the others that have just gone up. So I don't get why that is. It doesn't make much sense, especially when he's already had like the rematch and he's lost that. And if he loses a takeover, he's then got the match against Cesaro, which I think he probably will win. But it just seems strange to have him wrestle on NXT. I don't think there's really a need for it.
Yeah, and that's my opinion as well. I definitely agree with you 100% there. I feel that it has kind of scuppered Samoa Joe. So I'm going to go with Joe because that's who I want to win. That's my pick. I'm going with my heart.
I think this will cost us, yeah, but I think I'm going to go with my heart as well. I'm going to go Samoa Joe.
Cool. So, wow, we're agreeing on both matches so far. And
only at NXT, though. We've still got quite a way to go.
I know. There's so many matches, and it is a real massive... Well, I was going to say before we talk today that it feels like to me that it's felt quite a while since we've had a pay-per-view as such. And I remember a little while ago, it was like bang, 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 specials, pay-per-views, all in succession. Then it felt like we had a little gap. And now, again, we're getting hit full force with like an onslaught.
Yeah, I think that's probably like with it being SummerSlam, with it being like a big pay-per-view. Like they kind of took time to build to it, which is strange to say because a lot of the matches don't feel like they've had such a great build. And that's probably one of the things that was better with the like quick succession pay-per-views. They didn't really have to build too much to it. It was all about the matches, where things like this Rusev and Lana situation, the Fish, Dog Ziggler, throwing stuff like all that in to try and like pass the time. Things like that can kind of hurt it. But I don't know. It's one of them weird ones where I kind of like the quick succession pay-per-views. I think it kind of kills it a little bit more when you're waiting so long to build up a certain match.
Yeah, I'd agree. What do you think of this next one? Because this one hasn't, as far as I know, had a huge build. It was kind of a bit of a shocker. And I'm completely shocked still, the fact that we're going to get to see Jushin Thunder Liger on WWE TV against Tyler Breeze. I think it's epic. I really like it. And I like it for the purpose that Tyler Breeze is getting some real spotlight here. And I feel that he's kind of become, out of all of the guys, the little bit like the forgotten man because, you know, he was always the one that was feuding with Neville and, you know, he was around that mix, him, Zayn, and he kind of got pushed to the wayside while everybody else sort of moved up or became more successful, like Finn Balor, Kevin Owens came in. So I'm really happy that we've got this moment now with Tyler Breeze and against Liger. I think this could steal the show.
I was really surprised when he came in because it's not something that the WWE do, like bringing in like a superstar like that just for a one-off appearance. So that took us by a real surprise. I don't really know what to expect, to be honest, because I haven't watched a lot of Liger's matches. So I don't know how the match will go, but I would expect he would win it. I don't think he'll come in for one night and lose. We've already seen Sting do that, and that didn't go down too well. So I think if he comes in, he'll win it. I think Breeze, it doesn't really matter if he wins or loses this.
Yeah, I don't think it does, but I think he is going to win it because I'd be surprised that they bring Liger over just to, you know, to have him go over a WWE star or an NXT star. Don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I think it all depends on what kind of happens with the match. If like they do then bring him in, like if there's an interest in him, to bring him in, sort of like Rhino? How you thought it might just be like a one-off deal, and then Rhino kind of like appeared for a while.
Yeah, I think it's a one-off deal with Liger. I imagine he sort of got that flexibility because he is such a big star. I can imagine he can sort of go where he likes. So I think he's got this. I think he's got this one-off match. It's nice. I think it's really nice for everybody to see Liger in the ring. But can I see him winning? I don't know. I think it would do Breeze actually. Now we think of it, I think it would do Breeze a bit of damage if he lost.
Well, the reason I say it doesn't really matter is because he does lose a lot of the time. It's not like he's it's not like he's been sort of built up and then this would kind of like end a push or whatever. Because the majority of matches, especially that he has on pay-per-view, he tends to lose anyway. So it's a strange one, Breeze. I thought he'd be one of the like most like likely to go up to the main roster by now, but they've kept holding him back and giving him all these defeats. And I don't know kind of where they're going with it. It makes it just feel like he's the guy that can take a loss, and that's why they're putting Liger up against him.
Yeah, that's a good point. So who are you going to predict?
I'm going to go with Liger.
Going to go with Liger. I'm going to go with Breeze, just to mix it up a bit. So yes,
it could be. I think it could go anyway. I think toss a coin.
Yeah, and see which one comes up.
That's what creative do.
Well, probably more likely with the SummerSlam event. Yes, I definitely agree with that. Let's talk about the main event because it should be a good one, regardless of what we think with Kevin Owens, moving up to the main roster. Balor versus Owens for the NXT Championship in a ladder match. I believe this is Finn Balor's first ladder match. I think he's said that. So I think it's going to be an awesome match to watch. I believe that it's going to be quite predictable. I just don't see Owens picking up the belt again. So either it could be one of two things. Balor just wins, or there could be some sort of fudginess with someone interfering if they wanted to push someone forward. But I cannot see anything else than a Finn Balor victory.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the case. You can't see him taking away from Finn now. Do you think maybe Joe could get involved again, and that could like lead to him going up to the main roster with Owens?
Yeah, well, I can't see Finn Balor hanging around too much longer in NXT. I think he's sort of primed and ready to go. So it feels like there's got to be a point where they do the handover and let Finn Balor move. But I think they're kind of worried about doing that so soon with all the other guys, because you don't want someone like Finn Balor with his like awesome gimmick to get lost in the shuffle. So I think they're holding fire on it. But I want to see who he's going to feud with next. I know we're kind of over or sidestepping the match a little bit here, but I want to see who he's going to feud with because I don't even know what's happening with Sami Zayn at the moment.
Well, I think he's still injured, isn't he?
Yeah, so when you look at the list of people, it's got to be Joe who he goes in a program with next if Joe gets past Corbin. So, or do they bring Breeze back into the mix?
But thinking about it, now you've mentioned it, I think maybe Corbin and Joe could be like a number one contenders match. Like it's not officially announced as that, but you would expect the winner of that to maybe step up for a title match in the near future.
Yeah, could be the case. I don't know. I'm not sure about this match. I think it's just going to be really good, and that's it. I don't see storyline how it kind of moves forward because I can't see Kevin Owens hanging around to fight Finn Balor for the next 2 months.
Yeah, I think this is going to be their last match. I don't think it'll go any further than this will, because they've already had 3 matches.
We have, I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, I think this will be the last one. But I kind of see Owens winning it. Just the fact that he's been on the main roster for so long, they've been trying to kind of transition him away from NXT. So this has kind of gone against everything they've done, bringing him back down there. So I don't see the need for it. If he wins the title, he's only going to have to kind of relinquish it or something. Being on the main roster full time, I just don't see the point in it.
It's going to be really interesting when they do move Balor up, whether they, position him with guys like Kevin Owens, or if they go down a completely different route and focus on that supernatural side that he's gone for. I know it's not supernatural as such, but the whole demon side of things, they could really play off that, and they could get him into that sort of Undertaker side of things with the Bray Wyatts of this world. So I think it's going to be fantastic when they actually do bring him up, but where they position him, I don't know. But in regards to this match, I think we're going to have some great spots. I think it's going to be a good contest. It's going to be hard hitting because the two like to get physical. Finn Balor retaining. Simple as.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And that might lead me to believe, and I think you mentioned it earlier, that Kevin Owens will pick up the win against Cesaro.
Yeah, well, I think he needs to win anyway. He's had like 2 high-profile losses to Cena.
Yes.
So this kind of like says to me, like, we've got to give him the win. Even though Cesaro's having a great push, I don't think it'll hurt him too much.
Yeah, I mean, guys, let us know by the comment section below what you think of the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn and the matches we've talked about, because today we've talked about Banks versus Bayley, Corbin versus Joe, Liger versus Breeze, and Balor versus Owens. Get your predictions in now. I want to get your views on that as we swiftly move into the humongous card that is SummerSlam.
It is. It's a humongous card. It's the biggest card for any show I can remember. Even WrestleMania. Like, I can't remember if that had 10 matches this year.
It is huge. It leads me to think that something spectacular needs to happen to keep everybody's attention on it. But is something spectacular going to happen? Because I would say, although this card is huge and it's quite a solid card, it's got some good matches which could steal the show. I have not heard anything that out of the norm that we could get or expect. You know, like I think with previously we've had The Undertaker rock up. Are we going to get any shockers where someone could kind of arrive or somebody's going to spoil the party? I know we could throw up scenarios, but there's not really been too many hints of it yet.
There hasn't. Like, the only like surprise I could maybe see is Austin's out here for like 2K. So we could maybe say like an Austin appearance at SummerSlam, like even if it's just like to promote the game or something like that. But in terms of other shockers, I don't really think there's a lot that many people are kind of predicting or anything.
Well, now you mention that, wouldn't it be a coincidence of the promo that Heyman cut on the Stone Cold podcast that Austin could rock up in that event and stun Brock Lesnar?
Well, I mentioned this last night on predictions, and I say like the thing that could kind of do this, because I was kind of ignoring over who would win between Brock and Taker. So I would love Austin to just like come out and stun our Lesnar, and then that'll set them up for like the Texas WrestleMania next year.
Or the Texas Death Match.
Texas Death Match, let's go for that.
This is the trouble with it. If Austin plays a part in this match, you can't simply brush over it then. That's my biggest concern. You know, I do worry that they could just brush over it. I don't want that to happen. I think that Austin's got to be in it for the long haul if he is going to get involved in any shape or form at SummerSlam to get that match at WrestleMania. It would have to happen. I can't have this, you know, he interferes and then he backs out. So if something's going to happen, and you know, if it does, I'd rather again say someone like Sting get involved, which I don't think is going to happen either now. But I'd rather see that happen.
Yeah, I don't think the Sting thing is going to happen. I think if anything happens, maybe Austin is the sort of the choice that I would go for. But even that, I don't think it is something that'll happen. I think we'll probably get a clean finish, maybe.
I'll give you my prediction of that match when we get to it, because I think for me it's quite straightforward who has to win that match. But I'll come to that when we get to it.
Cool. I'll look forward to
it. As I've said, it's so straightforward. It's pretty much me just saying one thing and that's it. But we'll get to that. So the first match I've got on our card is the tag team titles. Primetime players, the champions, Lucha Dragons, Los Matadores, and the New Day. And this is just your standard. It's just standard tag team match to get everybody hyped, isn't it? Lots of spots. And Yeah, I actually do quite like these to kick off pay-per-views because I think it gets the crowd going. So I think it's a good start.
Is it a pre-show match?
Is it a pre-show match?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know actually, but I assume it's going to be the first one.
Because we've got a pre-show as well, so like that's adding on top of the 4 hours.
Oh bloody hell! Yeah, I would be surprised if this match isn't the first match. To be honest with you. Because they usually kick things off with something like this to get everybody hyped. Now I've said that, it'll probably be something completely different. But, yeah, I think this is quite an exciting match on paper. You've got lots of people that can fly around the ring like the Lucha Dragons. I don't like having Los Matadores in there. I really wish they'd just be repackaged. I don't care for it at all. New Day, I'd probably like to see them win it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, my pick for this is going to be New Day. I think they're the people that's sort of still acting as though they are the champions and they're getting the main focus. Where the primetime players, I thought I'd give them like another month and see how they got on. But they haven't really done much as champions again. They've been teaming up with like the Lucha Dragons. So there maybe could be something like between the two of them. And if anyone, sort of an outsider, was to win the match, I would say the Lucha Dragons were the most likely. And then maybe like something with the primetime players could go on. But I don't really see them dropping the New Day from the picture because like, they've been so good. And they're still getting such a big focus. I think they kind of deserve another shot at the tag titles.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with the primetime players. I liked it when they first started, and now they've kind of fizzled out. I'm not too bothered about them. Whereas the New Day have kept their momentum, even dropping the belts. They still feel, like everybody's going to get behind them. You either love them or you hate them. The crowd has got even better with them. So I think Lucha Dragons stand out a bit more out of these guys as well. Los Matadores is just what's your stance on them?
I think it's time to just get rid of the bull. To be honest,
I mean, I think the gimmick's awful, isn't it? It's got to that stage where it's just run its. Well, did it have a time?
It didn't really. It was just thrown together. Like they always said, it was put together to get people to chant for them with the Ole chants instead for Sami Zayn. But it's
wow.
It kind of just like it was different. I'll give it that much when it first come through, but it didn't last very long. And then when you think about it, we got some awful matches as well. We had like the ladder match with Hornswoggle and Torito.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
So yeah, it's been very it's been very much something that I just want to erase from my memory. I just want them to go back to being Primo and Epico.
Well, the trouble is as well is you're always going to have that moment where they have that little spot that they have to have, and it's just like why do we have to have that? Why have we got to have the El Torito spots in everything? And I just don't like it. And you will get it because you're bound to get it, I think, with Xavier and El Torito. So, but yeah, if I was going to predict, I'd go for New Day because I think New Day are the ones to push the tag team division forward. Primetime players, like I say, I like them, but I just can't. Something missing there.
Yeah, it's just been a very lackluster reign. That's what I think.
Yeah, Titus is really, I think, lighting it up. I'm not really sure about, Darren Young at the moment. I think Titus is so, like, when he hits the ring, he's like, bang. It's always, actually, to be honest, maybe that's why. Most of their matches is Darren Young being beaten down, and then you have, Titus hit the ring, bang, bang, boom, and it's match over.
But yeah, it is. It's like that with it's like that with a lot of tag teams, though. Like, you'll get, like, the Hardy Boys, like, one thing that you'd always see watching them would be Jeff sort of getting beat down for the majority of the match. Then he'd tag in Matt, and then all of a sudden it'd be like Twisted Fate and Swanton, and that's kind of over. So it's not the same kind of thing, but it is like a big sort of focus on Titus. I think Darren's maybe getting a bit lost in this.
Yeah, and I think comparing it to like the New Day, you don't really get that. They're all quite big personalities, and any of them can sort of hit the ring. I think maybe as well the fact that primetime players, I think, would work better as a heel.
They might do, actually, yeah. It's just the crowd seem to get behind them quite a bit. So I don't know if it could really turn them heel just now. But when you say like Darren Young as well, like sort of in Titus taking sort of the forefront of it, when it comes to like the commentary that they've done, because they've done quite a lot of it, it's all been Titus O'Neil.
Yeah.
Darren Young's kind of like just been in the background with his one commentary line, which I can't actually remember. So like even when it comes to that, he hasn't had like a big focus on him, and I think it's kind of hurting the team.
Yeah, I guess that's the trouble when you got someone with such a big personality, and I do think WWE are really high on Titus, and putting him back together as a primetime player is giving him that platform. So could it be something that they've just kind of angled towards so they can get Titus that more exposure, possibly?
It could be. I think it's doing a good job of like getting him and his personality across.
But I mean, if I'm going to pick someone, I'd probably pick two. I'd like to see Lucha Dragons or New Day, and I think New Day are the likely scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go New Day.
Cool. So we're in agreement on our first matchup. The next match, I really don't care for this one. The Intercontinental Championship match I've got on my list: Ryback, the champion, versus Big Show versus The Miz. If the title changes hands, it really doesn't exactly light up the Intercontinental Championship division. If the title stays where it is, it really doesn't make anything better. So this is my problem, is John Cena has managed to light up the US title. Ryback, no, I don't care if he's been injured or not. He just doesn't do it for the IC belt. The IC belt for me needs to stand out, and it's definitely not in this caliber of superstars. The Miz for me would be the one I'd rather have pick it up, to be honest. But then even then, it's not elevating the title to the next level. I don't think we're going to get too much out of this match. I think it'll be Big Show dominance. You know, the biggest guy in the ring, Ryback and The Miz trying to take him down. Eventually, Ryback will power him over at some point and then probably shell shock him, and he will get the victory unless The Miz steals it.
I think so. I think, to be fair to Ryback, he has been out injured, so he hasn't had a chance to like be on TV and sort of come across as the Intercontinental Champion the way they wanted. But at the same time, I think even with him as the Intercontinental Champion, I don't think it does much for the belt, because like it's maybe just like the fact that I'm not a big Ryback fan, but there's a lot of people that do actually get behind him, and I don't really understand it. Like I've seen it all before, like in the way that he's come through with other people, so it's not really new for me. But I think the other people in the match, I don't think Big Show would do much for the Intercontinental title. I don't think The Miz would do too much at all. Like he's the person I would prefer to have it, but he's had it so many times, and it's not really done too much in terms of elevating the championship. So although I'd love to see him win it, I don't think he'll really put like a focus on it. It just depends like the superstars he goes up against, and if he continues with this same group of superstars, then it's just going to be more the same. It doesn't really matter who's got the title for me.
I'd like to see The Miz win it if he produces The Miz that was the world champion. That's the sort of Miz that could boost the belt, but I don't. I feel he'd be not a champion when he was paired up with like Sandow. That's never going to get us anywhere. So there are ways of making sure that if The Miz did capture the gold, it could move forward. I don't see them taking the belt off Ryback, to be honest with you. I think that they've put their thought process into Ryback. The crowd amazingly like Ryback a lot. I'm not so sure of it, but they do like Ryback. Maybe it's his story, maybe it's his background, maybe it's because he's injuring people left, right and centre. I don't know. But the crowd like him.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one. I think the crowd are behind him, and surely that's sounding like good signs to creative. So the fact he's been out injured as well, I think this is like whatever plans they had for him to be the Intercontinental Champion, and they got scuppered because of the injury. I think they'll just go back to sort of this next month. So I think we'll just continue to see him as the Intercontinental Champion, and whatever was originally planned for him will kind of play out over the next month or so.
So I'm gathering you're going Ryback.
I'm going Ryback.
Yeah, it's with regret I'm going Ryback. It's not a great match on paper. It doesn't look like anything good's going to come of it, I'll be honest with you.
It doesn't. It's one of them matches where I'm not really looking forward to it. I didn't fly out to SummerSlam for that.
Yeah, indeed. Next one, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper versus Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Kind of strange how the match actually all came together, because a lot of people were expecting Bray Wyatt's next feud to be with someone like a Sting. Never came together at all, and they did go down the route with Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. They kept that going. Then Bray Wyatt re-recruited Luke Harper. Interesting. And then Dean Ambrose got in the mix, because that's what Dean Ambrose does. He sort of, partners up with Roman Reigns whenever he's got nothing left to do. So it's a bit of a mishmash, this one. If I thought what would be best for business, as Triple H would say, I'd say a Bray Wyatt Luke Harper win, because Bray Wyatt doesn't get a fair rub too often. So again, is it a match you're hyped about? Are you hyped about it? Does it make you think, yes, SummerSlam?
It doesn't really. It's one of them matches where I'm kind of interested to see how it plays out, but I haven't been interested in the way it's kind of built up. What I would say is, if it's anything like the matches we're seeing last year with the Shield, where it was like 6-man matches, then it could turn out to be an awesome match. But I think the kind of missing... they are missing Rollins as well in there, which was like a big part of that. So I don't know if we'll get the same kind of amazing matches that we had last year, but I do think it's the best kind of thing that could have happened for Bray, getting the family back together. And I kind of hope that they go on from this and do continue to build it, so that we'll get Rowan back once he's back from his injury, and then maybe some like new superstars recruited into it.
Well, if they were going to do a recruitment angle, they could do it bang on tonight. They could easily have, because I don't think Rowan's ready to interfere in this match tonight. But if they wanted to, put something down here to make sure that Wyatt's getting stronger, somebody could be used tonight as another member of the Wyatt family to stop Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose.
I think that would be a good way to do it. I think if they brought someone in tonight, tomorrow night at SummerSlam.
Did I say tonight as well?
Yeah, you said tonight.
Threw you there, didn't I?
So yeah, if they brought someone in to do that and just cost Reigns and Ambrose the match, I think that would be a pretty good way to go. It'd be interesting just to see who they actually recruit. But I think it's something that we were missing the first time around with the Wyatt family, because I thought them recruiting other people into it would be a really good way to go, and that was quite a long way you could have gone with the family. But as soon as the Shield broke up, they kind of broke up the family at the same time, and I thought it could have gone on for longer. So I'm hoping to kind of pick up where they left off, and we'll see it sort of expand to be a bigger family, more recruits, and maybe a bit more dominance from them.
Yeah, again, maybe something missed here. Could have really, planted the seed with Bo Dallas. Maybe you could have been talking to him a bit more and leading into this, and you could have used Bo Dallas as the perfect person to really change up. So I feel that they might have missed out on that. They could have definitely got Bo Dallas involved in some shape or form. He seems to be that guy that's really lost in the shuffle all the way at the moment. So if I was going to put someone with Wyatt, it would make perfect sense to be Bo Dallas, but I don't think they've tapped him up enough. So it's going to be a shock to whatever they do. But then again, it was rather surprising when they did actually go for Luke Harper to get back with Bray. Kind of, after all the stuff we've been through with the Wyatt family sort of, combusting, it was a surprise to just all of a sudden be like, oh, actually we're putting it back together. So I wouldn't be surprised tonight if we get a recruit out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably one thing that I'm kind of looking forward to in this match, to see if that does happen. But I think you're right. I think it'll probably be a case of the Wyatts win this. I don't see why Ambrose and Reigns need to win it.
They won't do damage, will they?
It's not going to change too much for them. I think it's just going to be a case of, if this gets the family sort of back on track after it's kind of been put together, but it hasn't had a huge dominance. It's kind of gone back and forth. So this will kind of set them aside and say, look, we've got 3 men here. They're ready to kind of take on the rest of the roster. So yeah, I think it's going to be a win for the Wyatts. I think it works out a lot better for them.
I'd agree, and I hope, to be honest with you, there's something better for Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, because I feel, again, with all the stuff going on with Rollins at the top level, Lesnar, it's very crowded in that championship section. And these two guys, particularly Roman Reigns, I feel like the crowd obviously definitely pushed him down the ladder. But I don't think he deserves to be pushed as far as he has been. I think Roman Reigns still should have a grudge with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. This guy took Brock Lesnar to the max, and he hasn't really been given another fair share or a fair shout. So
it's just the problem that there's so many like superstars that have really stepped up, because Reigns isn't on that level. Even though like he gets a huge reaction, the matches and things that we've seen with Cesaro and Owens and things, that's kind of what I want to see, because they've just been incredible matches. Whereas the Reigns matches, they've all gone kind of the same way. They've seen him like take a beating and then come back and hit the Superman punch and go for the spear, get the victory.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think, do you know what? If this match goes another way, that'll be the end of this match.
Which match?
If this match goes the other way and it is Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose that get the victory,
yeah.
I imagine it will be that happening. Superman punch, spear, game over.
Yeah, if it goes that way, I think that'll be definitely the case. It goes the way it goes.
So yeah, I hope there's better things for Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, but I'm gonna go with you. Like we've said, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, hopefully, and the Wyatt family getting stronger. That's the main thing here.
That's what I want to see.
Yes. Next up, kind of cool match because it's different. We've got Stephen Amell, I'm gathering as the Green Arrow, going up with the Red Arrow, which is Neville, versus Stardust and King Barrett. And obviously Stardust is completely living his gimmick at the moment and doing a great job at it. King Barrett, you're best mates with him, so you can tell us what he thinks of his chances. And obviously, Stephen Amell and Neville looking like quite a good team, because Stephen Amell looks like he can do a hell of a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one match I'm actually like quite looking forward to, being a fan of Arrow. And speaking to my mate Wade, what he says was that like he's got a load of respect for Stephen Amell, like doing this, because like not a lot of celebrities actually like step into the ring and actually get involved. So he's got a lot of like respect for the fact that he's doing that. But it's going to be a case of bad news in his opinion. And once he does step in that ring and he realizes it's a completely different world, he's going to be made to pay for it. But at the same time, I don't know if I agree with Wade. I think it's kind of like the celebrity coming in, putting all this effort into it. He's the team of the superheroes going up against the team of the villains. And, you know, you want the superheroes to be winning at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'd agree on that. And do you know what was really intriguing about this match? It's just seeing what Stephen Amell can do, because when he hit that ring on Raw, it was like he didn't look out of place at all. You know, I kind of thought to myself, holy crap, this guy can do some stuff. And I've heard he's been training and working really hard for this matchup. So wouldn't it be awesome to see the Green Arrow do the Red Arrow?
It would be amazing. I've seen some pictures of him on the top rope, so I don't know what he's been pulling off. But if he was to do that, like stereo, like red arrows from the top rope, that would be awesome.
I'd love to see that. I would love it. So I think this match is intriguing for those reasons. I think Stardust as well is becoming a really good heel. His gimmick's good, and Cody Rhodes is living it. I said a little while back I wasn't too sure about the Stardust gimmick, but I think Cody's just embraced it and pushed it. Shame about Goldust really kind of being pushed completely out of the picture.
Yeah, it is. It's a shame that Goldust is like being moved out of it, but I think the two of them together was a bit much. I think now that he's on his own, he can kind of just own it and like really hone it to the way that he wants to do it, and he's fully embraced it. So even when you see interviews with him, like outside of the like shows, he's full on in character. He doesn't break character whatsoever, and I think it's awesome to see like him embracing it so much. And I think this is the thing that'll like. It's one of them gimmicks where it's not really like a world championship gimmick that'll get you that belt. But I think it's something that really does allow him to like get a lot of focus, much more than he would as Cody Rhodes.
Well, that is the thing, isn't it? It's almost like where he can now own this and push this forward. Because when he was Cody Rhodes, bar his sort of time previously when he was hanging around with guys like Orton, he's always he's always not really been thought about too much further than that. He never really pushes his way past the mid card, but this gives him an opportunity to just stand out now because it is such an in-your-face gimmick. There's no getting away from it. So regardless or not, if he's in a title picture or not, he can just be more and more shocking, and that'll be the thing that kind of defies him. So defines, not defies. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this match for those reasons. I think it's different, it's out there, and it'll be interesting to see how the Green Arrow gets on against Bad News Barrett, or King Barrett, as we say, and Stardust. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's something that I'm really looking forward to, just for the fact that we don't see like a lot of celebrities actually get in the ring, and when we do, it's like bare bones stuff. So the way that he took the ring on Raw and took down Stardust, it's kind of just set me thinking, he's really gone for this. He's put in all the training he says he has, and I kind of wait to see what he comes out with.
And don't forget as well the fact that Neville is in this match, and every time Neville's been in a match, he's looked amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That it doesn't have to all go down to Stephen anyway. I'm sure he'll just like come in and get the win, but Neville himself will put on an incredible match alone. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good match.
Me too. Next up, this for me is the match of the card, Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. I cannot wait for this one. I think it's going to be awesome. Need I say much more of how awesome this is going to be?
It is going to be awesome. It's definitely, for me, going to be match of the night. Could be match of the year.
The fact that these two have just gone from strength to strength, and I know, yes, he lost to John Cena, but let's be honest, did we really expect Cena not to get the one-up at the end of all of this? In the end, it's the Cena way. So, I mean, Kevin Owens has done very well to sort of bounce back from that, where others haven't, and I feel that Rusev is a guy that didn't bounce back very well from it. And I have to say that pairing him up with Cesaro, actually, just pairing up anybody with Cesaro is kind of gold, to be honest. If it's Cena, he just puts on a hell of an effort. Kevin Owens, perfect. Randy Orton, Cesaro just can do it with anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's even Owens, like every match that he's had, it's been the same. So putting these two together, I think it's perfect to put them together and just see what they can come out with. Honestly, I think we're in for like an incredible match. I don't really care who wins it. I know I've already said like before that Owens is kind of due this win after the big losses to Cena, but at the same time, even if Cesaro wins, if Owen wins, I don't really care. It's going to be an awesome match. It's like when we went into the Cena and Owens match, and we said then like we don't mind who wins it, and no one thought Owens would anyway. So it was all about the match, and that turned out to be awesome. I think this is going to be even better.
I can't wait, because these two, I imagine, will sit down and pick out some amazing spots of how they want it to work out. And we all know that Cesaro over time has been quite limited, in terms of let's put it this way. Before he came to WWE, he had a hell of a lot more moves that he liked to pull off. When he hit WWE, he did feel like he kind of got limited. It feels like now they've decided to let him be more creative in terms of the moveset that he's got. And it feels like to me that a guy to complement that nicely is Kevin Owens. And we've seen that in recent weeks with, some of the US title ins and outs. Would have been fantastic if the US title was in the mix for this one, but it's not. But regardless of it, it's my favourite match on the card. It's a match I can't wait to see. And I am going to go with the man who I want to be world champion soon. I'm going with Cesaro.
You're going with Cesaro?
I want Cesaro to win this.
See, I want Cesaro to win it, but I'm going to go Owens. I think he needs that win, especially if he loses to Balor, like the night before as well.
I think so, but I want Cesaro to win it, so I'm just going with who I want to win. I have to go with Cesaro. I just want Cesaro to become champion soon. I want him to be up there in the mix. I don't want WWE to screw me over, and just as I think that he's getting the push he deserves, he goes and drops back down the ladder.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this could go on for a little while longer, like the two of these feuding. But I think it's definitely like in the future for Cesaro at the moment, because it's kind of like that Daniel Bryan thing, where like the crowd is so behind him now, they can't really ignore it.
Could go down as a no contest as well. It could be one of those ones where they knock the living crap out of each other.
It could do. I hope it doesn't though. I kind of hope we get a clean finish to this because there's so many moves that can pull off. I think we could be in for a really awesome ending to the match.
I'm gonna stick with my Cesaro pick.
I'm gonna go Owens.
Cool. We're different. Very nice. But it doesn't matter anyway. The winner is the fans.
The winner is definitely the fans. Everyone watching that match is going to be a winner.
Right. Let's talk about the women's division now. Let's talk about Team Bella, Team BAD, and Team PCB. It's just going to be a very good match, actually. It could be another show stealer. Yeah, this is. I'm intrigued by this one as well. I'm looking forward to this match. It's a long time since I've said that I'm looking forward to a Divas match on a pay-per-view.
But it should be an awesome match. Is it an elimination match as well?
I'm not sure. Is it? Are we sure about that, or are we 50-50? I don't know.
I think it's been said elimination. I don't know if it's just a case of one pinfall, to eliminate a team.
Oh, okay.
But
could be.
I don't know how it'll go down, but I think it should be an awesome match. They're going to get a lot of time as well, with the 4 hours. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're actually doing this. I don't know who would win it because it kind of could go either way. We've seen all the different teams picking up wins. But if I was to pick, I would say maybe the Bellas to win this because we've seen we've seen Paige's team and Sasha's winning quite a lot in terms of the single matches. And if the Bellas win this, it kind of puts the focus on Team Bella. And with Nikki so close to this title reign, it gets our focus back on her and her team, leading into this final 26 days or something till she breaks the record.
I really don't want her to break that record, so I really think something's got to give. But your logic makes perfect sense that the Bellas have been the whipping girls, haven't they? Really, they
took quite a lot of losses.
Yeah, they've been tapping out. It's I think the most recent one was obviously Nikki. I think tapping out to Sasha. So it would lead me to believe that she's going to get one up. I did say it would be nice if Sasha Banks was the sort of the standing one, the one that got the victory. But I am thinking now that possibly it could be Nikki Bella that gets the victory over a Sasha.
Yeah, I think it could be role reversal of what we're seeing, and Nikki gets her revenge there.
Yeah, it could be that. But regardless of the outcome itself, this match should be really, really good. Obviously, you're going to get that NXT style, and I think that the Bellas are coming round a bit more to that style, although I did see on Raw, Nikki completely fudged that kick, that sort of bicycle kick off the top rope.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes she's still adjusting to that pace because the other girls are a lot more sort of lean and quick. So she's still trying to adjust, but I think it will be quick, fast paced. It'll be nice because we're going to get some submissions in there with someone like Becky, and Bree stepped up a bit as well. So all in all, I can't really see any sort of faults in this match unless we get a really crappy finish.
I hope that's not the case. I think it could be a great match. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they finish it. But I do think it'll probably be the Bellas. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Team BAD or PCB. It's so many ways it could go with it, and there's so many people that could actually get the pinfall and then set them up from maybe a title match if they pinned Nikki.
Yeah, well, that's what they've got to lead to, haven't they? They've got to lead to someone becoming a number one contender at some point. I really hope they don't go with the obvious and just go down a Paige route again. Crikey.
Yeah, I don't want to say Paige do it. I think maybe Charlotte might be the person that gets the nod, but it's going to be hard for them to actually choose one person when they've got 6 other divas in these other 2 teams.
I think they're going to be looking towards Charlotte. But I would say that if they were because obviously she's the face. But if you're going to look towards someone who's really over, Sasha Banks is the one. She ticks all the boxes. Becky Lynch is very good as well, actually. I'd maybe like to see Becky get a little run at it.
Yeah, Becky's someone that's been really impressive, so I would love to see her get a chance as well. I just feel in terms of this being a big thing, if Nikki was to lose the title, I think Charlotte's probably the person that they might go with.
I actually have something for you to think about here. You know, when she does the, is it the figure of 8 or the figure 8 or whatever you want to call it? I'm close enough, aren't I? Have you noticed that they've put a lot more emphasis on the way she applies the submission hold now? So when she puts on the figure 4, she then does that. You know, she does the bridge.
Uh-huh.
Well, I remember when she was in NXT, she just do it quite quickly. Used to go straight into it. Now it's like the emphasis is on when she does start moving into the figure of 8. Then it's like, oh, now she's moved it, you know, and she's cranked it up a gear.
Yeah.
And
that's what they needed to do.
I never used to notice them do that before. So it was almost like she'd just go for it. Whereas now it's like, oh well, you can handle the figure 4, but when she puts you in the figure of 8, then you're done. Then you're in trouble. And they really do put emphasis on the bridge. So I feel that is going to become this sort of move that could topple Nikki. And that would be what they go towards. Although it kind of throws it all in its head because she tapped out to the bank statement. So.
Well, that's the problem. They have been like tapping out quite a bit.
They should all have tapped out apart from Nikki.
Yeah, well, I think that is like the hardest thing about it when you see like these like especially the champion tapping out. Like a pinfall is all right, but when you see them tapping out, it's kind of like it feels to me like it hurts them more.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think as well with someone like Nikki, she shouldn't be tapping out. She's the champ. So, not yet anyway. If she's going to tap out, she taps out in the championship match. So,
yeah, I think that would have been better to build towards. So, like, the only time she does tap out is, like, when the title is actually on the line, and it's a big thing.
I'd completely agree. I think that's what they should have done, but they didn't. So, we're going to have to roll with a punch. I'm going to agree, and I think that Charlotte will be the number 1 contender. And in regards to this match, I'm going to go with what you said. I think I'm going Team Bella.
I'm sticking Team Bella. I think that's the most obvious choice. It gets the focus back on Nikki, and this next month is where that focus really needs to be. Because the title reign's been like so lackluster, they need to put a big focus on it and make it a big thing if she is going to break it. And even if she's not, the focus needs to be on the title. It can't be on these teams and just have these days pass away.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree, and I don't really like obviously the Bellas too much out of all of these, but I think it makes sense to do so after they've taken a hell of a beating recently. So, next one, oh man, you know what time it is?
Is this Sheamus time? Orton time?
It's worse.
How bad?
It's really bad, man. This is well, I'm looking forward to Sheamus. Don't worry about that. This is worse because this is Rusev face time.
Oh,
I wish I had a button so I could just press a button and just start going crazy with the Rusev faces all popping up on the screen. If anyone wants to give me an animation for that, then more than welcome. Link me it. But yeah, Dolph Ziggler, Lana, and this isn't a mixed tag team match as far as I know.
it's not. It's a singles match. Can we get Dog Ziggler in instead?
Ziggler, yeah. I mean, that's to me is the real problem here. Is why have they? Can you make any logic of this? Why this isn't a mixed tag team match, and you want to make sure that Lana's used in some sort of way?
It doesn't really have much logic to it. Like I thought, what they've been building to, Lana getting more physical as the weeks have gone on. It's kind of shown that she would get then involved in the match, but for some reason we're just getting the singles match. I'm sure she'll still get involved like at ringside with Summer, but I would have preferred to say in the match now. They've kind of gone so far as to making her get physical. Like I thought, like it makes sense to now put her in the match, but just dropping that from it and just going with the singles match kind of seems a little bit strange.
It does, and I think because I think I read this on Twitter. A lot of people were praising like Summer Rae can do a lot more than just sort of roll around and grab hair and stuff. She actually can wrestle a fair bit, and we don't know yet if Lana can do that.
Yeah, but that's like one of the better things though, because like Summer's got a like big wrestling past from NXT. So when she come up, she was like one of the people that we thought when she does like make that jump to the main roster, like she could be like one of these dominant divas because she can wrestle like a really good match. So having that in her locker, if she was to go in a match with Lana, then she could kind of carry the match and make it easier for Lana, so she didn't have to like pull off all these different moves.
Well, the trouble is with Lana, just putting her at ringside, you kind of get the gist that it's just going to be that sort of cat fight on the outside and possibly that cost Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, possibly. I think this is going to be something that happens between the two of them. That's like pretty much definite. It's just I don't know who could win it. I might side with Ziggler on this one.
Oh, I'm going to go Rusev. You know I love the Rusev face.
I know, but I think if like Ziggler wins it, maybe you can just draw a line on it and won't have to deal with it again.
I think we're going to have to deal with this for a considerable time. That's why I said, to have the mixed tag team match could have ended it, but with them not having that, there's still a long way to go with this.
Yeah, I don't want to agree because I don't want to say any more of it, but I think that's the way it's going. I think next month we'll probably get a mixed tag team match.
Agreed. So I'm going Rusev.
I'm going to go Ziggler in the hope it ends.
I don't think it's ever going to end, to be honest with you. I think it's something that's just going to be in the WWE for years to come.
Oh man, classic rivalry.
Next up, Orton versus Sheamus. I know you said Orton Sheamus, but I'm liking this match. I like Randy Orton. I like Sheamus.
Did you like his botch on Raw with Owens?
Well, no, but you got to like the two of them, yeah?
What, Orton and Sheamus?
Yeah.
I'm just sick of it. I've seen it so many times. This is like the 6th match in like 6 weeks or something.
I know, but they've got to do something with Sheamus whilst he's like, not got anything better to do, because at some point he's going to cash in. Maybe at SummerSlam he's going to cash in.
Maybe. I think there is a good chance of him cashing in at SummerSlam, but I think this one we've just seen it so many times. That's why I'm like so bored of it. And with Sheamus winning it last month, with Orton winning it last month, I think it's probably just going to be a case of like reverse it. So the other person wins. So I'll probably see Orton win this one. Sheamus win this one.
I don't know how long this is going to go on for, this feud, because if you think about it, it's getting to a point where Sheamus is got a kind of. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. I think that if John Cena wins, then Sheamus moves into a program with Cena and he gets himself in the title picture. If Seth Rollins wins, then Sheamus will be hanging around Orton a bit longer. That's what I think.
Yeah, possibly. I think I just kind of hope it moves on from it because we've seen it too much. But like you say, it's just to kind of pass the time. Like there must be maybe like having Sheamus plan to cash in like pretty early on, and this is just done to like tide over until he does that. So I think that's probably what it is. It's just I've seen it so many times on Raw. It doesn't feel like a pay-per-view match, and with there being nothing on the line, it's like, well, I don't really need to get sort of any interest in this.
Yeah, that is the problem. It's when they do this, and they do this a lot. They give away matches for free when they should be pay-per-view matches. If they just stick them on the pay-per-view, do a decent build, then you don't get this sort of lacklustered feel. But that's what they always do.
Yeah, well, I think even if it was slightly different, like we've seen all these brawls, we've seen the wrestling matches between the two of them. If the stays like SummerSlam come round, put your like Money in the Bank briefcase on the line, then there would be like something interesting about it. But at the moment, it doesn't matter who wins. We all know Sheamus is just waiting to cash in, so it doesn't make a difference for me if he wins or loses this.
Yeah, I'm agreeing, and I'm thinking it's a Sheamus victory.
I'm going to go Sheamus as well.
Cool. Now, this is something to get you excited. The Beast versus the Dead Man. Again, and I did say to you earlier that I said that this was quite simple for me. It has to be a Brock Lesnar win. It has to be. It has to be.
You see, with it taking place at SummerSlam, it's so weird because like the business is too big for WrestleMania, which doesn't make sense at all. But you would think if they're doing that, it's because like Lesnar can win this and it doesn't like further devalue like Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. But at the same time, I think a loss for the Undertaker here, where does he go from there? Because he doesn't look the same. He lost that match of the year against Lesnar at WrestleMania. He come back, he beat Bray, but he still didn't look very convincing. Now he's come back here and he's hitting low blows to get victories, and maybe even that sort of style wrestling is more of a heel, I guess, isn't going to get him through this. It's like, where do you go from there? He's not the same Undertaker.
Well, Jim Ross said this. I was listening to his podcast, and he was saying that the obvious scenario is to have Taker win this match, and they go on from there, like one apiece, and they can do something else. But also, JR was saying that he doesn't think that should happen, and I kind of agree with him. He thinks that the way it should go is that Lesnar should go 2-0, Undertaker completely and utterly desperate, sort of saying, can I do this? Can I beat the beast? And then put it all on the line at WrestleMania to see if he can do it one more time. And I think JR was, I don't know if JR was hinting at either a third Taker loss to retire him, or whether he was hinting more that, Taker would get that final victory at the biggest stage of them all and, rectify his one loss at WrestleMania. But either way, it makes it more interesting for the Undertaker character if they go down the route of a Lesnar loss. I think that it makes him look even more desperate, and it could give him a chance to really go away and get back to the look that we all, I think, we want to see, is that more dead man look. Because, like you say, this is a version of Taker we've never really seen before. It's like a brawler. It's not the American Badass version. It's like he just does anything. He's desperate. But maybe we could give it this opportunity to let him breathe and go back to basics. Because I feel that if they let Lesnar lose this match, it makes it pointless giving him the streak. And all the stuff he's done previously, Taker doesn't look that strong at the moment. He just keeps, like you say, cheap shotting him. Why shouldn't Lesnar beat him? If you look at the big picture, it's Lesnar who should win this.
He should, and that's kind of my opinion on it as well. If they do, regardless of who wins this, if they have a match at WrestleMania and Taker wins that, it kind of then devalues the fact that Lesnar beat the streak.
Yeah. And that's it. That's it in a nutshell. To lose the streak to Brock Lesnar, only to defeat him at SummerSlam, I don't think it works. I think that this storyline could go on a lot more with Taker, trying to work out exactly what he's got to become to defeat Brock Lesnar. And, he could take 2 losses and then he could put something huge on the line. He could do something at WrestleMania. He's bound to be at WrestleMania because it's in his hometown. So it's just whether a case of he's going to be actively competing in some shape or form and who it's against. He's going to be around. So I'd expect him to have a match.
Yeah, it's really, really hard, this one. I don't know.
Do you think he looks strong at the moment? Because I don't.
I think he looks really weak at the moment. I think that's why they've had to go with the low blows.
But he's supposed to look kind of like he's a different version of Taker. Like, we could hear the commentary team putting him over like, you've messed with the dead man. But I don't feel that way. I feel like everything Taker's done is like been cheap and looked weak. The Tombstone looks weak as hell at the moment.
I thought that looked better this week.
It's just too difficult for him to pull off. I don't think he looks right either. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that he looks better than he did before, but I still think he's obviously growing his hair out to be looking more like the older version, but I just don't think he looks right in general. I think he looks half finished.
He does, doesn't he? He doesn't look quite there yet. It's hard. This is one of the hardest ones on the card for me. I don't know which way to go on it. It makes a lot of sense to have Lesnar win it, but I just feel like as a fan I want Undertaker to win it and then get one last run leading into WrestleMania so that we'll actually see him around a little bit more.
I'd have him Tombstone Paul Heyman. If I'm honest with you.
Just for the fun of it?
Well, I just think that Heyman's run his mouth so much and he hasn't got his hands on him properly to a degree that he probably warrants a tombstone.
See, he could have done that in the build-up to it. He didn't have to attack Brock. He could attack Heyman.
Because that's the issue again. Making Brock look so weak. Why is Brock since Brock got in that feud with Rollins and got beaten down by the Authority, he's declined incredibly.
He has, but they kind of have to do that because he's not going to be around for like forever. So like, there's going to be a point where he does walk away from it, and it's like if you build him up so much, how do you then have people go up against him and give them actually a chance in it?
I guess, and I mean, we're not even taking into account the other scenario, which I think could happen, because we all were excited thinking that possibly a Sting could come in here, but it's not. It's more likely it's going to be a Kane.
I think Sting is like someone I would like rule out. I think if anyone gets involved, it'll be Kane. With Kane being like the guy that was taken out by Lesnar, and they made like a big deal of calling him like the Undertaker's baby brother. So I could definitely see Kane coming back into this now. And costing Lesnar the match.
I hope he comes back as an older version. I hope he doesn't come back as that shitty other mask, the one that he came back recently with.
I think
it's crap.
If he comes back, I don't know. I'll
go back to being the original one.
The original one, I don't think it'll work though. Like in that tight suit, like.
We'll modify it a little bit, but get the premises that that's the version he wants to become.
If he come back with like the original like look with the mask, with like the pants, I don't think like he should have like the tank top type thing.
No.
I think if they modified it that way, I think that'd look a lot better. But like the original, if they'll go like straight original, I don't think that'd work too well. But I would love to see him just come back with the original mask, even if it's just the mask itself.
Yeah, what I'm kind of edging towards is no more of this making out he's a demon when he's not a demon. Because he wasn't a freaking demon. When they brought him back, do you remember how I thought originally that mask looked quite good, and I thought he actually had a good gimmick again, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, he's like lost to Cena, and it was like, holy crap, this has got shit in like a matter of weeks. So I want to see a version of Kane that's quite powerful and strong if they're going to do it, not one that's going to take like a couple of months to sink back to the Authority version.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's just Kane needs something different. I think if he did return like that, then it'd freshen things up, and it's a Kane that I would prefer to see.
I just want to see something new with Kane. If you're going to bring him back, please don't make it the Authority version. Could be really shit and depressing. If I'm going to go for a pick, then I'm going with Lesnar.
This is really hard, but I'm going to go with The Undertaker.
Okay. We shall see. Last but not least, we got there. We got there. It is massive, this card. You think?
I was just trying to think if we missed anything out.
I don't think so. I think we got them all.
I'm surprised we got through it this quick.
Well, I think, to be fair, you could go for hours on this if you wanted to go and break it down in full. But hopefully, the We Talkers will pan it out even more so with some good comments in the comment section below.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So, John Cena versus Seth Rollins, title for title. I'm surprised it's title for title, to be honest with you. It makes it more difficult to predict. Actually, doesn't me thinking about this.
It doesn't?
Doesn't. All the path leads to one victory, doesn't it?
Sheamus.
No! All the paths lead to John Cena. It doesn't matter that he tried to throw us with his merch. John Cena, actually, I would love Rollins to win this. And I know I've said I've been concerned about his title reign, but I feel that I don't want to see John Cena as champion. I don't want him breaking or is he leveling Ric Flair's record?
Yeah, he'll be leveling it if he wins this one.
No, I don't want to see that. So anything that stops that from happening is perfectly fine with me. And we could get a cash in. If we get a cash in mid-match, that's fine. If we don't and Cena wins, then obviously he gets that. But I would not believe that WWE would devalue it that much. If John Cena wins, there's no cash-in coming. If John Cena gets interrupted in the match, then yes. There's no way they'd make him win it to lose it. No way.
If he wins it, there's no way he'd lose it because it totally devalues the whole 16 titles that time.
Exactly.
Thinking about it, if it's clean cut victory for one of these two, then I would say it has to be Cena, because it's making history, and when you think of everything that Cena's done, it kind of just, it's the thing he does, just make history with things.
And
So
can I?
it's a big moment to like level the title reign at 16 times by having that US title in there. Kind of makes it a special thing.
And can I just say to you what happened at last year's SummerSlam for John Cena?
He lost the title to Lesnar.
And would it not surprise you that this has come full circle? And this is the point where his redemption happens once again, where he, he's gone from, at the point of nothing at last year's SummerSlam to turn it all the way back round. And he even hinted at it in his promo that he never thought that he would be in the opportunity. That's why he got all his new gear kitted with 1.5s and it all feels like it's all going towards the Cena victory, and the big pull off of he had the worst start and now he's finished on a high.
I totally agree with that. It's weird how many redemption stories he has.
Yeah, well, they've got to get the belt on him, haven't they? So they have to go down this route.
It does make sense. I think the biggest thing is going to be the next one after that, like when he does beat Ric Flair's record, which I think is inevitable. That's obviously going to come at WrestleMania. But I think if he wins the title here, then it's going to be a long title run. I can't see it being like a small one. It's got to be a long one to like really put the emphasis on this being title number 16.
Well, I think there's another factor, and it's the Triple H factor, because if you noticed on Raw, he did say something, I think he said, "Don't let me down," or something like that. Or I think when John Cena was cutting his promo about Triple H was never Ric Flair's bitch, but Seth Rollins is like basically a bitch for Triple H. It almost was like the penny had dropped for Triple H to kind of make him sort of say, actually, you are becoming a bitch, so don't mess this up. Opening the door to potentially maybe Triple H turning on Seth Rollins, maybe after the match.
Are you surprised we haven't already seen that, though? Because that was like the big match I was expecting to see at SummerSlam.
Well, I know I've talked about Sting a lot in this, yeah, and I know he's not going to be there. Well,
you just want Sting, don't you?
I really do.
You've put him in every match so far.
Yeah, I could put him in any match. I could do it because it hacks me off that the WWE have definitely kind of just pushed him aside. But would this not have been the match if you think, because it's hard with Taker to really filter him in, unless they're having their match at WrestleMania, and even then it may not work because you've got to have someone going over. It's likely to be Undertaker. Then if you were going to really edge towards something working with a Sting, then this would be the one where you have Triple H coming out to try and stop again John Cena, maybe helping Rollins. Sting makes that moment happen where once again he's there to stop it, and he can get his revenge on a Triple H for rectifying a loss that I personally feel should never have happened. It was a chance here for that to happen, and that was the opportunity. I think that Sting deserves that a moment and that opportunity. He's never going to get it by the looks of it, but I still feel this card and I look at it and I think something's got to give in this card. Something amazing has to happen. It's such a big event and they've made the point of making it longer. Why on earth would you not have something big happening?
I
don't know what that is.
I think so, but there's got to be something big happening. I think this is a match where it's not going to be a clean finish. I think there's definitely something going to happen. But there's quite a few people that could get involved. Sting is one of them. So you may get your dream after all. But this could be Triple H. It could be Sheamus cashing in. There's so many options that it could go with. It's really hard to call.
I'd tell you what I would like. And again, it's a bit out there. What about if Triple H does decide to try and take down Rollins and then the Shield come back? Because they talked about this as well, haven't they? They've been hinting at Shield reunion at some point.
They have, but I wouldn't want them just to throw the Shield together because the Wyatts are back together.
Yeah, good point. There's a lot of scenarios here, but I think the underlying tone of it all is I don't really want to see John Cena win the gold and have a long reign again. I feel that he's been much better off placed down the card a bit more. And if I have to say that Rollins gets over again, because I think Rollins is a weak champion at the moment, unfortunately, could do much better. But wouldn't it be interesting? Yeah, well, he'd have to drop the belt, but he would turn face ultimately if Triple H turns on him.
I think it'd be interesting. I would prefer to see him turn on him. I don't know if it'd lead to the Shield reunion though. Anyway, because like there's no reason for Reigns and Ambrose to forgive him. But I would
Nope.
definitely prefer to see like Triple H turn on Rollins. I think that'd be a good program to work. And yeah, I don't know. There's so many like different ways to go about it.
One thing I would say is the main event's intriguing. That's for sure. There's something there. And as I said, you look through this card and you think it's a big event, something's got to give, but we can't work out what it is. So I'm hoping that we will get some sort of shock value.
I think so. I think there will be shock value in it, but I think it's going to be Sheamus. And did you mention last week about him cashing in and only winning the one championship?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If he cashed in, would he be able to take both, or would it be a case of that he just get the world title and that's it?
I think that could be a way to go because I've heard like quite a lot of people actually mention that. And with the contract being for a championship match, like a WWE championship match,
That's a good point, isn't it? Oh man,
if
fudge us big time.
if he cashes in during the match, like if both of them are laid out, like even if Triple H comes out, he takes out Rollins, Sting. Well, I don't know if Triple H comes out, he takes out Cena. Sting comes out, takes out Rollins, and they're both lying there. Sheamus cashes in, pins one of them, he wins the WWE Championship. Could then get a second fall. Cena could win back the US title, retain it, and then Rollins is left like deflated, without the authority, without a championship. And then you've got Sheamus as the WWE champion and John Cena as the United States champion.
But don't you think as well they could also play it on the fact that if Sheamus changes the match, right, and pins John Cena, who's to say he's fighting for the world title still?
But it's a contract like for a WWE championship match. It doesn't like.
Is there a loophole in this? That because remember what Seth Rollins is, he's the architect.
But what I would say is, remember Seth Rollins, he cashed in during the match and he didn't pin the champion.
Yeah, and he took the belt. Yeah. I'm just thinking of little loopholes they could go down, because you could always say that Rollins was saying, well, you defeated John Cena, so you get the United States belt. You don't get my belt. We've never had this scenario before where it's been title for title and someone's cashed in.
I think that's why there's got to be a cash in, because like it'll be so interesting. There'll be a lot of confusion about who's won what, and I'm sure it could even change again on Raw, like depending on what's happening at like the end of SummerSlam.
Well, they've been angling that for a while, a fudgy title thing, because they tried it, didn't they, with the double pins and all sorts of awkward stuff where we've been like, So they kind of hinted that they're going to do something crazy at some point.
Yeah, I think something's definitely coming. It's a good way to kind of get the title off Rollins as well without hurting him. Because like the title reign hasn't been great, but at least it's built him up as like a big superstar now.
Yeah, well, he is. That's the thing. At least he is a big star. I just think his reign's not been that great. But if I'm going to pick, I'm not going to go with who I think's going to win. I'm going to go with who I want to win. So I'm going Seth Rollins. And a Sheamus cash in the match.
Well, when I done predictions with Elle, we done 2 sets of predictions. If Sheamus cashed in and if he didn't,
right?
So if Sheamus cashes in, my prediction is Sheamus. If Sheamus doesn't cash in, it's just these two. I'm gonna have to go John Cena.
Wouldn't it be bloody awful if Sheamus cashes in and still doesn't win and John Cena still looks like champ? Because let's not forget that is a factor.
Surely that can't happen.
Well, anything can happen.
Cena, isn't it?
So yeah, and then obviously the feud would open up then, wouldn't it? You could have Triple H and Seth and Sheamus chasing the gold without the cash in.
Yeah,
could happen.
I don't know. We're bound to get Cena and Sheamus anyway.
Well, either way, you're going to have an epic time because you are there, you're in the midst of it, and you're going to have a wicked time.
Absolutely, I can't wait. It's turned out like so well. Like the fact that I've actually like gone through this and like come over for it, and then seeing someone like The Undertaker live, it's just like an opportunity that doesn't really come around. Like it's so weird to see that he's come back for SummerSlam, where it's like the first time in ages. So like I'm really looking forward to seeing Taker just live and that experience and that entrance. And then on top of that, seeing him go up against Lesnar, Cesaro, Owens. Like there's so many matches on the card. Not a lot of them are amazing, but there is like some really big spectacular matches in there, and I just can't wait to experience it live.
Well, I think as well, when you're there, it doesn't necessarily matter whether or not the card actually is that great. It's the atmosphere that you're there anyway. And you have got some epic matches on that card. Lesnar Taker is the one. So
Absolutely. And I'm just interested in like seeing the like people around us and if they're really cheering for Ryback or if that's feeded in.
Oh, you're going to have all the Rybackers on your case right now.
I'll have to ask them in the crowd like why they're cheering. What is it? What is it? Let us in on this.
I don't know. I don't know why people support the Ryback, but never know why. It's the WWE universe. And I guess what's left to be said now for you is any shameless plugs?
Well, I haven't got a lot of videos at the moment going up. Like I had some community showcases during the week, but when I get back on Wednesday, I can start talking about WWE 2K16 and what I've seen. There is quite a lot of news that will be coming out Monday night, but because I'm in the hotel and I don't really have the resources to put together some videos, I think I'll probably wait until Wednesday when I can get back and kind of put everything together in a bit more detail. So keep a lookout for that on the Smack Talks channel. That should be up during the week. And then there'll also be some Tomb Raider on my second channel.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. Very much looking forward to all that 2K16 information that you've got coming our way. From me, I guess, well, we've got Saturday Night Main Event tonight. Got a few top fives coming over the weekend. Obviously, we'll probably be talking about SummerSlam a bit more as well. So, yeah, busy. And I want to get your views and opinions via the comment section below. In regards to all the matches, give us your predictions for SummerSlam. Can't wait to hear what you guys think, particularly on Lesnar Taker and Cena Rollins. So I guess that kind of brings us to a close, man, with you all the way in New York.
It does. We've got NXT tonight, so we've got that to look forward to. So it's a jam-packed weekend.
Massive weekend of wrestling. Like I said, it felt like it was away for a little while, but now it's back.
It fully is.
Indeed. So, man, enjoy SummerSlam. That's all I can really say to you. I'm sure you will anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you're going to have a wicked one, I'm sure.
Thanks, man. I'm sure it'll be an awesome event. I'm sure we'll all be enjoying it when watching it. And, yeah, it should be awesome. I can't wait.
And also, don't forget to bring me back Renee Young. So
I was just going to say, like, I'll keep an eye out for Renee. See if I can get you Renee Young.
I will. If you can't, then one of the Bellas.
But if I can, maybe I can like stretch to on the cardboard cutouts. Will that do you?
A giant cardboard cutout. Right. Thanks very much. Yeah. Nice.
I'm sure you'll enjoy that.
I certainly expect some sort of goodie bag coming back.
I'll have to see what I can get.
Nah, man. Enjoy it. And yeah, I can't wait to see all the stuff that you've got when you come back.
Cool, man. It should be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Wicked. So I guess all that's left to be said is please rate, comment, and subscribe. And are you going to catch us later?
I shall catch you later.
Wicked. This is Delzinski and Smack Talks with this SummerSlam preview. Signing out.
Hi wrestling fans and gamers, Velvet Sky here, and I just want to say I've been hearing a rumor that Delzinski.com is the best place for video gaming and wrestling content.